This is our main guest, believe it or not. This is the real reason you came, ladies and gentlemen. All of this was pre-log until now, but this is the meat of the program. Our next guest that will join us is a sports analyst and former professional football player. He's been elected to the NFL Pro Bowl and was an Arizona Cardinal for 4 seasons. Please join me in welcoming Jay Feely. Jay, you're really classing up the program today. You're legit. Thank you.
I didn't understand a word they said either.
Yeah. It's best not to engage. We'll just. Okay, so Jay, you have transitioned like a lot of well-known professional athletes from being an athlete now into being a sportscaster. Is that right?
Yeah, I played in the NFL for 14 years, and when I was finished, got an opportunity. CBS said, hey, would you be interested in calling games? And I literally had never done that, didn't study that in college, was a financial advisor for a couple years before I got in the NFL. And I said, well, I don't know. Like, I've done some TV and I've enjoyed that, but I don't know about calling games. They said, well, why don't you try it? So literally, I thought they would have somebody who would walk you through the process. They would teach you, you'd have maybe a class that you went to. They literally just put me on a game. It was BYU, Middle Tennessee, and I'm about to go on air thinking, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do for the next 3 hours.
Wow.
And you just kind of do it, and it's weird because, kicking, you either make the field goal or you miss it. Like, it's very clear whether you're good or not. And I finished that game, I didn't know if I was amazing or if I was awful. And
apparently you were all right, because they asked you back, right? That's great. BYU, they've got all those difficult names, too, all the Polynesian names. Right. A lot of syllables with no vowels in there.
Yeah,
so.
something like him trying to do it.
Wow. Well, that's great. And so, and you have risen very quickly to the top of your profession because you were at the Super Bowl last week, a couple weeks ago.
I've been blessed to do 2 Super Bowls with CBS, and it's been a fun ride. And I think, it's similar to kicking in that you just can't fear failure. You're going to mess up. You're going to, be the butt of jokes. You're going to end up on awful announcing. I ended up on Saturday Night Live when I was playing. They do a spoof about you, and you have to be able to continue just to kind of push forward and not fear failure. And that's what I tell my kids all the time.
That's great. So, Super Bowl, J-Lo or Shakira?
I kind of like Lady Gaga when she did it before.
That was a good show.
That was a good show.
That was a good show. All right.
A little cleaner, too.
I'm not going to say anything right now.
That's right.
And I know you have a connection, like I do, with our friend Nancy at House of Refuge.
I do.
Thank you so much. Tell us about that.
Well, my wife has been the president of the board there and very involved. And she got really involved after you guys talked about, when they lost their funding from HUD. And basically, she couldn't sleep at night. We were going, when I was with the Cardinals, we would go 2 or 3 times and visit throughout the year and just kind of be there really with the kids and the families and do some projects just to try and make their lives more enjoyable. And when that happened, she just said, we got to do something. And so we kind of helped come up with this idea of naming each of the homes. So you can name it after your business or your family and having a sponsor a home program and being able to kind of try to come up with all the funds. I said, okay, it costs about $12,000 a year for the house to function. So if we can get somebody to sponsor each home for that amount, now you've covered that house. And, it's been really successful. They've done a great job. And Nancy and her staff do so wonderful with all the people there. And we love it. And really, everybody sitting here, and she kind of glossed over at the tax credit. If you pay taxes, how many people pay Arizona state income tax here? Right? Great. Every one of you should do the tax credit. Okay. Every single one of you. Because it's a dollar-for-dollar credit off of your Arizona state income tax. It doesn't cost you a penny. So whenever we do events, I always tell people that because it's $400 for a single, $800 for a couple, and that helps so much to that organization. And they really do such a wonderful job. A couple times I've been out, getting my hair cut or doing something, and somehow it comes up, and I'll meet people who were residents there, and now live on their own, and they're functioning, they have a family, and they're so grateful that they were able to help them break that cycle, and I think that's what they do such a great job of, is just giving them dignity, teaching them the skills that they need to get back on their feet and to be self-sufficient.
Well, thanks for being such a strength in our community, someone who gives back like that. And a couple of really great points. The tax credit thing is something that everybody ought to be doing, but then also this idea of adopting a house for like a $12,000 donation through a business or a service organization. That's a great goal that I think we could all kind of put in the back of our heads and try to figure out who
Churches,
can we work
local
with?
churches doing it. I mean, there's so many different things that you could go and say, hey, that's going to be our home. And we're going to go there and not only help with the money, but also go there and engage and try and help any way that you can.
Your career was fascinating for a lot of reasons, and there's a couple of quick stories I want you to tell, or just facts about your career. You went, the longest field goal you ever kicked was?
61 yards.
61 yards.
Yeah, out here in Arizona.
That's a what needs to happen? It seems like all of the planets need to align. How does a 61-yard field goal happen?
Well, usually they only happen at the end of a half or the end of a game. You're not going to kick one during the course of a game, and so it was at the end of the game. It's kind of desperation, and you're down 3 points. They say go out there and try. And you got to hit it right. The snap and the hold's got to be perfect. Everybody's got to do their job. They got to block well, and
Very cool.
You're able to make the kick. And those moments are fun.
And also, you have the distinction of being one of the few place kickers in modern NFL history that scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that was awesome. For me, I always wanted to try to convince my teammates and fans that I was an athlete, right?
Yeah.
Not just a kicker.
Yeah.
And so I'd run down there and I'd hit guys on kickoff, and that was kind of my fun. And finally, I got an opportunity to carry the ball, and we had this fake in for probably 6-7 weeks. But you have to get the right look. So we'd call it, and then we'd check out of it and just kick a field goal. And finally, we got the opportunity where we got the right look, and we left it on, and I was able to, get in the end zone. I tried to do kind of like a Lambeau leap at University of Phoenix Stadium there, and I got like 3/4 of the way up, and I kind of knocked the kid's glasses off as I jumped into the stands. So my touchdown was a lot better than my leap.
That's very cool. So we cut the highlight film off right as
right,
running
exactly.
towards the fans. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's very cool. So where do we tune in to hear you call games nowadays? What's the best way to
I'm on
follow you?
CBS, so I do the NFL Network coverage, and
Wonderful.
You never know what game you're going to do. You kind of get your games 2 games out, and we usually have 7 or 8 games, and I kind of bounce from up in the booth to down the sidelines. I do both roles, and it's a lot of fun. The thing you miss the most when you're done playing is relationships, is the locker room, and those guys. And being an analyst, going to the games, you fly in on a Thursday, on a Friday, you meet with the away team, or the home team, and you go to practice. And then you meet with the coaches and some of the players. And then on Saturday, you meet with the away team when they fly in. And it's just fascinating. You get to sit down with these coaches. You get to ask them any question you want. You get to challenge them if you want. You're asking about the game plan, what they're going to do, how they're going to combat the other team and the other players. And you get this really inside look before the game happens. And you quickly know who has answers and who doesn't. Who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't.
You make it sound like there's actually some work that goes into broadcasting.
Just a little bit, yeah.
I just assumed you showed up
That's
and
right. I wish.
strike some balls or whatever. Well, congratulations. Thanks for being such a great community, guys. Thanks for continuing to support a lot of worthy causes in our community, and we're looking forward to continuing to follow this new part of your career.
Well, I appreciate it. We love it. We don't have any family here in Arizona, but we moved into this area and just kind of fell in love with this area, the schools, the people. That's why we decided to raise our families here.
Very cool. Well, Jay, I know you've earned a lot of wonderful prizes during your
My
career.
bunt is not teeny, though.
Well, don't get ahead of yourself. I'm not sure. I mean, you're getting something, but I don't know if we have it. I think you're also, in addition to getting a wonderful buntlet, I think you're getting also something from Cobblestone Spas, car spas. You're getting a free car wash.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Could you use that?
I definitely.
All right.
With 3 kids that are driving, yes, absolutely. My wife and I, yeah.
3 kids? You look like you're...
I got 4, yeah.
4, and 3 of them are driving.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I looked as good as you when I had 3 kids that were driving. That's great. Well, congratulations and thanks again.
Thank you
and
for
we'll
all
look
that you
forward
do.
to-
Absolutely.
My
Good to
pleasure.
hear.
Thanks a lot, Jay.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.